Hello, today we are going to talk about Chapter 5, Lesson 7, and that is subtracting polynomials. All right, so let's get started. Before we begin, I just want to review a few concepts we've been struggling with, okay? And it's something as simple as a problem like 2 minus negative 5, okay? And so some of the issues we're having with a problem like this is we're not quite sure how these two things interact. Okay, and remember that when we subtract a negative, all right, we are really adding. So this is actually 2 plus 5. You almost want to think of it as distributing that negative sign to the other one. And 2 plus 5 is 7. Okay, and then a similar problem, we'll maybe throw in a variable expression. Let's try 3x plus negative 5x. Okay. Now, again, when you're adding a negative, you're really subtracting. Okay, so this is essentially a subtraction problem, and that becomes 3x minus 5x. And we're still struggling with this a little bit. So let's think about it. If I have 3 x's and I take away 5, all right, it's really a subtraction problem. And 5x minus 3x is 2x. The bigger term is negative, so my answer is negative. All right, I have more negative 5x's than I have positive 5. So we did the positive pirates and the negative ninjas, and they fight. And there will be, when they fight to the death, and there'll be 2 left over of the negative ninjas. That's why it's negative 2x. Okay, we're going to do something similar today with lesson 5-7. And in lesson 5-7, we're subtracting. So in the previous lesson, we had a problem where we had 2 polynomials, and we would add them together. In this lesson, we're actually going to be subtracting them. So there's a couple of ways that I want to think about a problem like this. So here is our problem. All right. The way that I've been comfortable teaching it, and actually the way I do these, is I think of this as a distributive property problem. So I'm going to distribute this negative, and we're really not used to that. We're going to be distributing a -1, or the additive inverse, to our second polynomial. All right. And what that essentially does is it changes all of these signs. All right. And then I don't need the parentheses after I've distributed. So I'm not going to do anything with the first. Nothing changed. And then I'm going to distribute that negative. So negative 5x becomes positive 5x. Okay. And positive 1 becomes negative 1. So everything is the opposite. And what we say is we add the opposite. So not just the opposite of the first term, but also the opposite of the second term. Okay. And now I can go through and I can combine like terms. So I can say that I have 3x plus 5x, and 3x plus 5x is 8x. Okay. And I have 1 minus 1, which is 0. I don't need to write 0, but that would be the result of my constants. A 1 minus 1 is 0. So my answer in this problem ends up being just 8x. Okay. Let's take a look at another one. And let's go with, let's see here, this. 6x plus 5 minus 3x plus 1. Okay. So we're going to do this method again. All right. I'm going to essentially distribute this negative sign into my second set of parentheses. Okay. Again, I don't do anything with the first. And then a negative times 3x is negative 3x. So positive 3x became negative 3x. And then positive 1 becomes negative 1. I'm going to go through and I'm going to combine my like terms. So I have 6x minus 3x. So I'm combining my x's, and 6x minus 3x is 3x. And then I have 5 minus 1, which is a positive 4. Okay? So this is the way that I usually have students do it. There is another method. In fact, we're going to look at the same two problems with just the different method here. Okay, and a lot of you guys like this when we did adding them, so it's called the vertical method. All right, and so this is where that adding the opposite is really going to come into play. All right, so let's take a look at this original problem, 3x plus 1 minus negative 5x plus 1. So I'm going to write the first polynomial exactly as I see it. I'm always going to put an addition there, and then I'm just going to add the opposite of these two terms. So the opposite of negative 5 is positive 5x, and the opposite of positive 1 is negative 1. Now, I just have to add 3x plus 5x is 8x, and then 1 minus 1. And so when we're adding the opposite, really what you're doing to the two number, like what two signs you're looking at, will be these guys. So you're going to see this plus here, and you might think 1 plus 1 and get 2, but you got to realize it's 1 plus negative 1, which is just 1 minus 1. So really, that's the beauty of the adding the opposite, is that you're really just paying attention on that second term to on those constants, just that you really don't even have to think about that addition sign. All right, so let's take a look at our second problem. So again, we're going to write the first just as we see it. We're going to add the opposite. So the opposite of 3x is negative 3x, and the opposite of 1 is negative 1. All right? And again, I am just really looking at 6x minus 3x, because 6x plus negative 3x is 6x minus 3x. So when I do that, 6x minus 3x is 3x, and 5 minus 1 is positive 4. So we get the same answer either way. I'm not picky about what method you choose. Try them both out and give them a shot. See which one you like. I hope this helps, and we'll see you guys next time.